thing. It's gonna follow you. Somebody gave it to me, and I passed it to you.
Guys, welcome to another episode of Katie Afraidy on Fangoria. I'm your host, Katie Hettenbach. Like I always start, give us a like, subscribe, follow, all that jazz. Hit the notification button and give us a review. Give us a good review. Give us a bad review. We really don't care. Just do it. Please? Thank you. Awesome. Love you. You're great. You know who else is great? The person I have sitting with me today. He's hilarious. He's wonderful. Comedian Sam Salem.
I'm afraid.
So afraid.
I'm afraidy, but I'm not Katie.
Oh, shit.
The last couple podcasts I've been on have made me freestyle rap, and I'm appreciative that you guys are not going to make me do that.
So, hey, we do have a segment.
No,
It's just
no.
freestyle rap real quick.
It's just like randomly in horror films. You're like, yeah, horror, but make it freestyle.
But, I mean, you could talk about It Follows and do a rap.
No, I don't think I'm going to do that.
But I think you... So are you known for freestyling?
No, it was just a random...
But on two different podcasts?
One just has a tradition of shout out damn internet you scary. And the lads over there, they just have a tradition of like they freestyle to start every pod. And then shout out the Meter Game podcast, Andrew Rolfo and Jess. I messed up your name on the podcast and now I'm forgetting your last name, but I love you. They have like it's just like one of their things like that's randomly in part of the podcast.
Huh.
So it just happened to... But I'm not going to be... You're welcome. I won't be freestyling this time. I'm not skilled at it. I'm not known for it.
I lied.
I don't even know why I brought it up.
He's actually known for it. And, well, you brought it up, and I feel like you have to do it.
I'm going to be in the 8 Mile remix. Remake.
Yes. The remix to the remake.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be... Okay. Dude.
Playing Eminem.
I think you and Eminem have so much in common, you know?
I don't think we have much in common at all.
You're both...
Midwest.
Men and from the Midwest.
Yeah,
And
shout out. You're from Wisconsin, right?
Hell yeah. Where are you from?
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Oh, okay.
The better state. Minnesota gang. Gra.
Scotty all the way.
The best thing to come out of Wisconsin is I-94.
Beer, cheese, and serial killers, bitch.
Don't forget about adult superstores and fireworks.
We don't have those. No, you have to go to Illinois.
No, that's all. Well, you're from Milwaukee, right?
No, I'm from Madison.
Okay, but still the east side of the state. If you drive, I've driven to Chicago many times. The whole western side of Chicago, it's billboards that are basically like church or Bible related, or fireworks related, or cheese ahead, or adult superstore. Those are the 4. Wait, did I say fireworks? Those as well.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I mean, you're not wrong.
A place of culture.
I mean, Minnesota, you first of all, let's talk about, if you want to get into it, you say 10,000 lakes. They are not all lakes. They are ponds. We have more lakes.
Okay. First off, if you really want to get into the state pride thing, 1, we have like 20,000 lakes. We're humble about it. 2, this is actually true. This is true. To my knowledge, I guess I should double check it. Wisconsin counts anything as an acre or more in size as a lake. In Minnesota, it has to be like 5 or 10 acres. So if you want to count who is counting ponds, it's y'all. You have a smaller definition of lake than Minnesotans do because we have standards. You can't just be any little body of water. You have to be big enough to be considered a lake in the land of 10,000 lakes. You didn't even know this information.
I think that you're just saying things.
No, that's true.
I think you're like, oh, this bottle of water, this is the lake. Let's add it to it.
No. You can look that up. Wisconsin has a smaller definition of what constitutes as a lake than Minnesota.
It's not the size that matters.
Look, I've been saying that my whole life, but I'm just saying, if you're gonna do anything, don't play with me when it comes to Minnesota pride over Wisconsin all day.
Dude.
Gophers, Skyuma.
Blech.
Oh, jump around Wisconsin. This is for like the 3 people out there that are really invested in the Minnesota-Wisconsin rivalry.
Yeah, we are better, so. And our colors are better.
Red
and white.
Yeah, you've always been a red and white. You always wear that red hat, don't you?
Yeah, always.
Like the Make America.
Great again? Yeah.
So it is on brand that you like Wisconsin better. It makes so much sense.
Because everyone knows I just love rocking a red hat.
I mean, you're wearing. This is on camera too. Bring back audio only podcasts.
Audio.
So I can just make up lies about
what I'm wearing right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's a Trump hat.
It's a Trump hat.
The Bible.
You're literally wearing a KKK hood.
Okay,
dude,
well that is just a different level of. That's crazy.
That's out of the question.
I'm offended.
But I mean, we're talking Midwest. Well, this movie also took place in the Midwest.
Doesn't it take place in Detroit?
Yeah, it follows.
Actually, that I clocked that this time because like there's like this scene where they're whatever. I guess we'll get into it later. But like one of the friends is like, my parents would never let me drive past 8 Mile.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, this is Detroit.
Yeah, everything was like shot for about like $1 million in Detroit.
Gotcha.
And they shot, I think, in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was kind of like a festival darling, right?
Yeah, which I'm gonna be honest with you.
You hate this movie?
I hate this movie. I appreciate it and I get why people like it. It's pretty. The soundtrack is awesome. It's or not soundtrack. The sound design.
The way it's scored, yeah,
is beautiful and so unique and fun. But it's just like it's so just ramming it down your throat that it's STDs, and it's just like I get it. But
yeah,
I did appreciate it more this time. I haven't seen it in a while, but I did appreciate it more this time.
I will say it. First off, let me just go on a strong take. Love to this podcast. Respect to you.
Thank you.
Why are we watching horror movies in the first place? Do you not have enough stress in your life?
Me? You're talking to me specifically?
Just
in general?
any of you sickos out there. Okay, I'm watching this movie this morning at 10 a.m. just feeling like, oh yeah, I forgot the movie starts out where this woman just gets mutilated and you have to see her limbs all, and I'm just like, I'm trying to eat my spinach, onion, tomato, egg frittatas. I don't want to see that. I'm so stressed. And you know what? I thought I liked this movie. I don't watch horror movies very much, people. I'm not a big horror guy. Perfect person for this podcast.
Yeah.
I think when I saw this movie, I was 23. I didn't have any stress back then. I didn't have any trauma at 23. I lived a very easy life.
Uh-huh.
Now that I have stress and trauma in my life,
too much?
I'm trying to watch like Frozen, okay? I'm trying to watch the same episode of The Office.
Okay.
Why are we doing this to ourselves?
But it was your choice to wake up and watch this movie, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agreed to come on this pod.
Yeah.
I agreed to watch this movie.
Which I'm thankful for. But also, you could have watched it like late at night.
No, I purposely didn't watch it late at night.
You said first thing in the morning, horror movie. I do that sometimes, but I'm also.
And it wasn't first thing because also my wife's out of town this week, so I'm home alone. I'm not about to come home from the comedy club late at night and watch. I'm a scared boy, okay? I hear one little rattling outside, and the motion light goes on
and you're
outside my house, and I'm just
that was too much.
I'm gonna die.
So what you're saying is, when you get home, you're gonna watch the Strangers.
No,
I think it's gonna be a good movie for you.
That's the Wait, which one's that?
Why are you doing this? Oh, because you were home. People invading a house and they just torture.
Oh yeah. That's newer, right?
2008. 2008.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I'm thinking of a completely different movie. No, but even like in high school when people were watching horror movies, I was just like, yeah, this is so fun. And then I'd be like, Mom, come pick me up. I'm scared.
Mom, I can't do this anymore.
Mom, there's beer here.
Mom, they're having. I can't do it. They're kissing. They're having sex. Get out.
That's the other thing. I'm kind of a. Okay, well, do you usually like do the? I don't know. What's your order for this?
We hop around. We spoil. We do anything.
Okay.
There's no rules.
Here's the thing about this movie. So the plot of it is. It can only be passed through sex. A lot of people do think it's an allegory for. Like, yeah, sexually transmitted diseases, which I'm also prude boy over here, okay? uncomfortable all the time with anything. Here's the thing, though. It's the first off, why does he chloroform the girl?
Okay, Ben and I were just talking about this before you walked in, because he was like, "Oh, they're like this was sexual assault," and I was like, "Well, they consensually had sex, and then how if you had the sex it, which is what it's literally called, if you had it following you, and you're like you just passed it on." How the fuck are you gonna explain this to somebody else who probably won't believe you?
Well, first off, I would never have to worry about having it in high school and college. But secondly,
Same.
What? You're right. But so he passes it on to Jay.
Yeah.
And then he chloroforms her. It's just like, I don't know, if you're already at that intimate level, you could be like, hey, I've just done something awful, and I want you to know, like, we sit here and wait, and this thing is going to come and follow, and, like, only we can see it to prove it to you. Secondly, it doesn't even make sense, because they ask him, what's it, Hugh? That's, like, his fake name or whatever in the movie. When they finally track him down, they're like, how did you get it? He's like, oh, it's this one night stand at this bar. So I think that's how I got it. So the woman didn't even explain it to you. You just, all of a sudden, you just see this monster following you. And you're like, well, it must have been that girl that I had sex with. And that's why I have a monster following me.
It's like the lore sometimes is like, because they're like, oh, it's usually somebody that you know following you as like the it being. Yeah. But for Jay, it's never somebody she knows. But everybody else, it's somebody.
It wasn't her dad at one point, or she didn't have a dad in the movie.
No, they didn't really like threw it away. They're like, oh yeah, my parents are gone, whatever.
Because it's her neighbor. When she passes it to her neighbor, and it shows up as his mom.
Yeah, and that's the only time it's seen as somebody's like parent.
I thought it showed as one other person she knew, maybe. Well, man, there's so many things. I guess the point, I guess it's also supposed to be like, if you notice, there's like cell phones, kind of like that clam thing.
It's like I read about that. It was like early mid 2000s is like when it's supposed to be, kind of.
Yeah, but also if you look at all the TVs, it's like way older, and so someone's like, it's supposed to emulate like a dream where like your dreams don't always make sense. Where it's like, if you hear someone explain a dream, it's like, oh, I was in the 1970s, but I had a phone. And
you were there, but it wasn't you. Yeah. It was like you. Yeah.
So it's supposed to kind of be that like unsettling, like what? Because that her sister or her friend was like reading, and it looked like a little like SpongeBob shell. Phone. Like a shell phone. Shell phone. It writes itself. Right. Got a thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you for the pun. So. Anyway, I'm like, he did not have to chloroform her.
It also, like, the wheelchair thing, first of all, where did he get this wheelchair? Yeah. Second of all, were they already near how far from the car did he take her? And why did he take her there? And how long? And why didn't he put her clothes back on? She's just in bra.
Yeah, he just like throws her.
She's just in bra and underwear.
I was uncomfortable with so much of this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of naked people.
Yeah. Which isn't my jam, but I mean, no shaming to anybody out there. The other thing I don't understand is, so he says it's slow because it only walks, but it's smart. It can take the shape of anybody you know, and it'll like, don't go anywhere with only one entrance because it'll know to like trap you in there. Well, it can't be that. This thing, it is kind of bad at what it does, because if it really is that smart, why is the first time you're showing up to Jay as a creepy old woman that would be obvious to her? Yeah, and then it shows up as in the house as like it's someone like, it's like a decrepit old lady like peeing.
And I'm like, first of all,
out of hospital gown.
Why is she peeing? Like, I don't understand like that specific part. Like, I'm like, this was just to be creepier. Like, there's no point to it. Yeah. But the old woman, like the first thing, it would have been better and hit harder if it was a student.
Right. And I know, I guess that part of it's like, I guess there wouldn't be a movie then, but it's just like, Yeah, I don't know. Like,
know,
does it,
yeah.
I guess does it? But maybe like, does it not want to kill in front of like a group of people, or does it matter because
I
they
don't
can't
think it
see it?
matters.
They can't see it.
But it's, you know, like then we'll jump around for a second. But like when they, Jay and all of her friends are at the beach, and you know Jay's sitting there, and you see
It pulls her hair. Yeah.
pulls her hair up, and people start to see it. Like that's, you know, I don't think it gives a shit. It's just like, I just want to kill.
Yeah, but
person.
again, why would it pull its hair then? If it can't be that smart. If it knows, like, well, the moment I pull my hair, it's gonna know. Like, you can clearly. It's one thing if you can be seen or felt, and so like, okay, they're gonna feel me walk up behind it. But it's like, if you can get that close, why would you not just jump and like headlock?
Yeah, it.
Give it a people's elbow, jump up and just like, you know what I
Get in
mean?
there. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why would you walk behind and like, oh, let me grab the hair? Why would you not just like curb stomp a fool?
Just immediately take him out. You're like, don't tease. Just go and do it. Just get it done. Like slit the throat. Get it done. Don't. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, get it done. Get it
But
done.
also, I don't know if it's like weird where it like how it kills you also seemed like weirdly sexual,
yeah, like the
which also
with
made me like, I'm like, "Ooh,
the.
I did not remember this movie well.
I haven't seen it in a minute, so rewatching it again. I think the last time I watched this movie was in college for like a horror, like the sound of horror class,
Yeah,
and I was the only person not in a sound major. And I
yeah,
was like, I just like horror movies, and then for our final projects we had to pick a horror movie to like analyze and do
Yeah.
as a final presentation, and I was the first pick, and everyone was so mad because I picked It Follows, because everyone's like, the
That's what I
sound design
wanted.
is so good, and I was like, look, it's Bee-Boo Bebops and drones, and they got so mad.
Yeah. You're just doing it for the meme,
Yeah,
for the meme of it.
I was like, you guys are so mad, this is so great. They're like, we had to pick other movies.
Savage.
But no, I also, so while we're on that one scene, I was watching it, and
The one where like the hair gets pulled.
the hair gets pulled, and there was a moment that I was like, is this Sam? I was like, I didn't know you were in It Follows. I had no idea that you were in this movie.
Okay, you're pulling up a picture. Very funny. This is gonna be offensive. I'm already upset.
Also, it's not in English for some reason. This
Oh, when like the demon jumps through the door.
Why does that look like you though? Why is that you?
That does not look
looks
like
like
me.
me.
That looks like a.
That looks like you.
No, it doesn't. That looks like a little girl who's been like
That's
demified.
It's
Is
a little-
demified a word?
it's little demon Sam. It looks like a little demon Sam.
I don't know what it is about me that makes people want to tell me what I look like. But as a teacher, that's all I get all the time. I go out in the world, and Gen Pop is always like, you look like Logic, you look like this, you look like that. I think there's just something about me that people
Yeah.
really want to be like, I need to tell this man who he looks like, and it's never like, wow, you look like,
A nice person.
I mean, Logic isn't bad, I
Yeah.
guess. But yeah, it's never like, wow, you look like, why can't I think of anybody but I can't think of a genuinely conventionally attractive man. Like, no one's ever like, you look like Ryan Gosling, which of course, because I don't look like Ryan Gosling, but like, you know what I mean? People always say it as like, oh, you look like your fucking Logic had a sleep disorder. And I'm just like, why are you telling me this? I don't like
I'm
it.
sorry.
Anyway, so apparently I look like a little demon child too.
Add that to the list.
I can't believe, because they're making a They Follow.
Are they actually?
Yeah. It's supposed to like come
Really?
out this year or being filmed this year.
Oh shit! So what you're saying is we're gonna go opening night.
I will not be watching They Follow. I'll read the Wikipedia plot synopsis of it.
And I'll watch it at 10 a.m.
Because the movie does end with like the cliffhanger of like Jay and what's the boy next door's name?
I don't know, but I will find it because I'm bad at names. Let's find.
There's so many like TV shows that I've been watching like 3 seasons of, and I'm like, oh, I didn't remember anybody's name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so her and Paul end up together, which by the way, that's relationship's not gonna last.
Yeah.
The boy next door has a crush on her. Then he gets really jealous because decides to sleep with the cool neighbor boy to pass it on. And he's like, why'd you do that? And then in total boy fashion, she's like at her lowest point of like, I've been traumatized by sleeping with who I thought was my boyfriend, made up the it follow part aside. Just I slept with someone who I thought was dating, and then they chloroformed me. Trauma. Then I slept with someone to pass on this demon. That person gets killed, and I watch it happen. And then now, not only that, now this demon's back to following me. And then that's when the neighbor boy's like, let me lean in and go for a kiss real quick.
And then they're like, I guess we should fuck. And then they're like,
yeah, boys don't have any tact. And that's how I knew a male wrote this movie, is because there's no shot that the girl would just be, not that, look, let me just talk about the female mind real quick to you guys.
Yeah.
I had sisters, not to brag, but just be that guy. But no, is that not like a very dude thing to do, of like, the boy next door who's overlooked, and now she realized he really is the hero, so I just spit so much, and I'm gonna sleep with him after I've been traumatized, and now we're gonna date. That relationship's not gonna last.
It's not gonna last.
But anyway, they're seen holding hands, and then there's like the little, like, there's a person walking behind them.
But you're like, is it or is it, just someone walking?
Yeah.
So it's like, which they purposely tried to do that in the background by making everyone walk slow.
Right.
To make it seem like, is it the person? But also, they didn't do that good of a job, though. Because it's like, we always knew who it was, obviously, but I think it would have been interesting if there were like more background, more like distractions, so you're not.
There was the one scene of them in the park asking Hugh how he got it, and then he's like, do you guys see that girl? And she kind of did look a little like they framed it as that could be it. Yeah.
But I think we need like more of that stuff where you're like, is it them? No, it's just people walking.
You're right. It wasn't as many like suspenseful moments.
They have like a speed walking tournament, and they just happen to go to it, and they're like, I don't know, they're all walking towards us. I don't know if it's they're all walking toward, and then.
But why would they go to a speed walking tournament? Well, because then if everyone's walking fast, it's not. Also, how far did they drive to go up to the lake house, and then it is just there a day later?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're in the area and it doesn't. You're within 10 miles of it, and it doesn't come see you for a day and a half, and then all of a sudden you drive like seemingly at least an hour away.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Like I was thinking like, okay, what if you got on a plane and then flew away?
Yeah.
But then, how long would it take? Would it take them a day to get there? Can they swim?
But it's slow.
Can they go through water?
I guess you're screwed if you're on a plane and it makes it to a plane. I think the move is, because it's slow, wait in an open field, and then for it to walk up to you. So that's the other thing where it's smart. Like if it's smart, why would it reveal itself to homegirl? Well, I guess maybe because she's like, well, she doesn't, because he can see it and I can see it. So maybe the hope is like, well, they're not going to believe him next. Anyway, I guess my move would be, first off, actually, I, again, would never have it in the first place. Secondly, I would feel so, I've had this conversation with my friends before. If you sent me to war, I wouldn't kill, even if they're about to kill me, I'm like, well, I don't know. There's somebody, like, they're probably like somebody. They don't need to die. Like, I'd feel so bad about it. Same in this situation. Like, if I had it, I think my whole life, I would just try to be on the run. Yeah. Because I'd feel so guilty passing it on, and I'd feel so guilty letting myself die, because then it would just go to the next person. Like, the weight of it would be like, okay, I'm going to live as healthy of life as I can so I can outlive whoever passed it on to me. Yeah. And hopefully outlive all the people and then like, wait in like an open area, see it coming towards you, run it over with your car, drive directly to the airport. Yeah. Or like drive 5 hours away to an airport, because it can't catch up to you. Then you're in an airport 5 hours away, and then fly to like freaking Tahiti. But
you better hope that there's no layover. You better hope that there's no delays.
But it's slow.
But it got there within 10 miles. It got there within, X amount of hours.
Right, but if you're 3,000 miles away.
True. But I mean, it has weird supernatural dream-like, because if we're going that it is a dream, then it'll just be there like the next day.
Maybe. But they said it's slow, so I would at least try the theory of like, let me fly to London.
Yeah, real quick. Hopefully it's not on your plane. That would be stressful. Like you can't sleep. You got to be like this, like it might be on the plane.
Yeah, I mean that would be the toughest part, I guess, if you're able to. I doubt you can put it on a credit card. If you try to pull off some fraud and like charter a private
I'm gonna fly, but then like what if there's that's so stressful. I was just thinking as you were saying that, like, okay, if it's smart and you want to go to the open field, I was like, in my head I'm like, okay, anything's possible. This is what's happening. Like you somehow, like it's like a donut-esque thing, so like you're in the middle, and then you have a big, like, whole trench around you, but you, like, cover it, and you, like, put leaves over it. So it thinks that, because it's smart, but it's dumb. So it's like a velociraptor where it's almost too smart for its own good.
Right.
So it, like, will fall in, and maybe, but then it's probably some, like, spider monkey and can just climb right up,
Well, because it can shapeshift. Like, at one point, it is, like, that giant, like,
the man for the door. That was the creepiest.
Yeah. It's like 8 feet tall or whatever.
So the ducking under the door is like what?
Right.
I don't know. Spooky.
Yeah, super creepy. So when it turns into that big guy, like if you do trap it in like, and I guess it was smart enough to not go in the pool originally, like the final scene where they're trying to trap it in the pool and it starts like throwing things.
But it knew. It was like, I'm not going in the pool. I'm going to just throw things at her. And what was the goal of that? I was confused. I watched that scene a couple of times because I was like, what are they, everything's hooked up.
They were trying to get it in the water and then electrocute the water to kill it.
Okay.
But they didn't really have a good plan of removing her. She was going to have to swim out of the water. And then so it like threw the thing in the water. Well, Jay was still in there. And they were like, well, good thing we did a terrible job of setting this up because it now didn't kill our friend. Also hilarious that he just starts shooting and he shoots his friend. Because that's the point where he's like, just point to it so we know where it is. It's like, well, there's also depth. It could be anywhere within that line of pointing. Yeah. So he's just like, he just starts shooting, and then in the background you just see the girl go down like, my leg.
My leg.
Yeah. Like that SpongeBob.
Yeah. That was pretty good. It's also like the only time they got smart was when they're like, let me put a sheet
over it.
Yeah. But I think that's stupid because I feel like it should be a ghost where you can't, it's just a force and the other people can't do anything to help you. Like, it can harm them, but if you put a sheet...
But then it'd be undefeatable.
But it is undefeatable. It's undefeated.
I guess. Well, they defeated it.
How?
Well, in the water and shot it, and blood filled the entire pool.
But then it came back.
Maybe. Maybe it didn't. Maybe that was just a neighbor walking.
But then there wouldn't be they follow.
Well, maybe it's just a different universe.
That's true. It follow, they follow, she follow, he follow, zer follow. They do all the pronouns.
It's getting woke. It's they follow now. Back in my day, we had it follow, and now they're trying to make it they them follow. And I'm sick of it. That goes against my Christian values of horror films where people brutally sexualize another and murder them.
Exactly.
That was my impression of everyone from Wisconsin. Shout out Wisconsin.
Shout out Wisconsin. Maybe true in some places, but also probably true in some places in Minnesota.
No, what a perfect state who's never had any issues. What a perfect state who never built their freeway right through a strong black neighborhood in Minneapolis and totally messed it up.
Exactly. Totally fine. Totally a good, clean, water filled.
Yeah. Minnesota's the kind of city that's like, we're progressive. As long as you're gay and white.
That's it. Don't read too much into it. Don't look at it.
We're progressive in that very specific way and that way only.
Don't look at it.
Why do you like horror movies?
They're fun, honestly. Apparently, and I've read more about this, and I'm like, oh, that's probably a good reason. I do have a lot of anxiety, but it also calms my anxiety in a weird way. And they're fun. I don't know. Genuinely, they're very fun, and they're
like, it's fun to you, like, haha, these people are so dumb, or it's fun to you, like, how are they gonna escape it?
Both.
I don't know why I kind of got British right there with that. How they gonna escape it?
How you think he's gonna escape it?
Wow.
The freaking
we're voice actors, ladies and gentlemen.
We're voice actors.
And they thems.
They them.
I've made it weird by doing that. I gendered it.
Made it weird. Because you're from Minnesota. Anyways, but yeah,
what is the fun part of horror movies to you?
Everything. They're like the creepiness of it, the story. Like usually the story is what I come for, and then I'm like everything else. Is like the weird moments. Like we just talked about the movie Freaky. Have you seen that movie? Probably not. It's Freaky Friday, but with Vince Vaughn and a teenage girl. But Vince Vaughn's a serial killer, and it's hilarious. It's so stupid.
It's supposed to be funny, or it's
maybe. I find it funny.
We're not sure.
I don't know. I find it funny. I used to be terrified of horror movies, and then something clicked, and I'm like, these are pretty funny, and like,
that's fair.
It's to see where I don't really get scared anymore from them, so I'm like, to see what will scare me is also interesting.
It's kind of like your superpower. You're not scared anymore.
Well, that's not true, because I'm afraid of a lot of things.
But not horror movies.
Yeah. I mean, there's like moments in horror films where I'm like, okay, that was really creepy.
Right.
But it'll never be like a full horror movie. I think the only full horror movie that actually scared me was Hereditary.
Okay.
And that's maybe the only one, but that's
really spooky, creepy.
I would say, yeah. I would say I wouldn't watch it if I were you. It's very good.
No, I'm not. There was no part of me that's like, oh, the scariest movie you've ever seen. Can't wait to go home.
I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch that right now.
I'm gonna watch it from my garage,
dude. I'm watching
in the middle of the night.
3 a.m.
Yeah.
Home Alone.
And let me just drink a couple Celsius to really get the heartbeat
I'm gonna
going.
drink 12 just to really have it.
Yeah, I did not know Celsius had caffeine in it the first time I drank it, and I don't drink coffee or anything with caffeine. And this is not an ad, by the way.
It is an ad. We have a Celsius can.
I love that. And my wife just bought them. I was like, oh, and I had not eaten anything that day.
Oh no.
It was like 11 a.m. And I was just like, why does it feel like my heart's pumping on diesel right now? It was the worst I've ever felt in my life.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't even know it. Not only does it have caffeine, it has like the equivalent of like over 2 cups of coffee.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
It was really bad. Anyway.
On the surface, it's a fine movie. Now I
convinced you to love it.
Hearing that, I don't say love it.
You to love it.
But it's not. I get it. And I don't hate it. I don't hate the movie. I think it's a good movie.
You know who loves this movie?
Yeah.
Conan O'Brien.
Huh?
Yeah, I think I sent you the clip of it, but Jordan Peele was on the episode of Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, and this movie is brought up, and because Jordan Peele obviously doing more thriller horror type stuff now, and I think they were both talking about. Conan was talking about his love for it. I think Jordan was maybe saying he liked it, maybe just at least being nice about it or whatever. Yeah. And Conan was talking about the thing. He's like, something that's slow is way scarier to me.
Oh yeah,
because of the suspense in it. Like if it was just super fast all the time, obviously in some ways, like yeah, it is scarier in some ways, but it's like it's also over sooner.
Yeah.
Like to sit in a field and it could be like, it could show up in 5 minutes, it could show up in 5 hours, and having to hold that tension.
And just to wait, because it could be anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe that's a metaphor of the anxiety we carry with us. Because a lot of people, if anxiety's on a scale of 1 to 10, a lot of people would just keep themselves at a 5 the whole time because they don't like the swing of going from an 8 to a 2. Whoa. That's my fake philosopher. That frat bro that comes up like, why are we talking about so many boring things? Let's talk about deep stuff. You ever just thought about we're like a speck on the earth? And you're just like, yeah, everyone did it at like 3rd grade, bro.
Yeah, we figured it out. Yeah, exactly. So
I'm really making this go all over the place.
I love it. I love it.
You can tie it all together.
No. It's beautiful.
Get us back on track.
It's beautiful. So I'm going to ask you, what was the scariest moment for you?
The scariest moment. I think the opening sequence.
Okay.
For me, because you just.
Because she was running in heels.
Was she? No,
Yeah,
she was like
really, really high heels. She was.
I thought she was kind of like in pajamas because it was the middle of the night.
No, she was in.
But wasn't she?
She
kind
was
of
in
pajamas?
she was in pink stilettos, sprinting.
Which that makes it also like dreamlike because she looked like
Yeah.
she was in like a little like pajama set.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, I think, I mean, I do have a fear of running in stilettos, but I think that was the scariest because the other stuff, like a creepy giant man or a goblin, like that doesn't seem like that likely to happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is maybe about to get too real, but this woman having this burden
Mm-hmm.
of this thing following her and getting to a point and calling her parents dad and be like, I'm so sorry for the times
Yeah.
I'm annoying to you, I love you so much, and then just sitting in the middle and just waiting for it. And it's like I'm at a point where I can't do it anymore and I'm just giving up, and like the loneliness in that and scared, that is like the scariest to me because I feel like that I've seen that happen to people in life, obviously not with like a scary monster.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if this is too
No,
serious
you're
of an
good.
answer, but like, yeah, I'm just gonna get to a point where I just give up and apologize to my loved ones.
Yeah. No, I mean
That's horrifying. That's terrifying because I
Yeah.
feel like that could happen to anybody.
Yeah. I would probably do that if this happened to me. I would simply just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna find a cliff real quick. I'm just gonna.
But would you not feel bad that then it goes back to the person who gave it to you? Or would you be like, well, they passed it to me, so they kind of deserve that?
I'd be like, there's no stopping it. I want out. Like at this point, I'm at that point, you have to think about yourself and like try to just survive.
Yeah.
That's like
fair.
if you think about other people, it's like you're gonna feel that guilt constantly, and it's like you kind of have to be selfish, or
Yeah.
and I obviously would. It would be really hard because I'd feel terrible, but I'm also like, I need to be done because I can't keep running.
I think a lot of people would feel that way. For sure. Especially if it's like, well, this person chloroformed me.
That too. It
was so unnecessary.
It was so unnecessary. Scariest moments for me were.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Honestly, the entire beach sequence when the friends actually see
her hair get pulled.
Her hair get pulled, and then they try to help and are just like the creatures just like slapping them across the beach. They're like throwing them, and then they go like they run into this little shack or whatever, and it's trying to get in, and they're like, what the fuck, like what was that, what's happening? And then it shapeshifts not once but twice into other things, so it shapeshifts fast too, so that's
as soon as you're not looking at it, it's able to just change into something else.
And then their one friend bursts through the door or whatever, is like, I'm gonna go get help, and then you pop up. And it's great.
Okay. The goblin. I do not look like that thing.
You do. You look. I was like,
I want
this
you to
Sam.
on the Instagram account when this episode comes out, put a side-by-side photo of me and the goblin.
I want to
and
reenact
be like, does this look?
Is this Sam?
Yeah.
Yes or yes?
If Sam turned into a goblin, would this be him?
Yes. That's you.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
I really appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
What a nice thing.
I feel like it could be worse. I could have said something worse. Like you.
Well, yeah, like when you said that I was wearing a white hood earlier to the audio listeners and trying to say I'm a KKK member. Yeah, something worse like that.
Something worse, like you said I was a MAGA supporter. Something worse like that, which also they go hand in hand. So.
I'm glad to have driven to Burbank for this.
I'm so glad. So, out of 10, what do you think?
Okay, I think I would do this a couple different ways. I would say, compared to movies that I want to watch, like a 2. compared to other like horror films, I don't know, like as 8.
Okay.
If that's fair.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Let me guess your number.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. You kind of like the technical side of it too. I feel like you were at a 4, but since we kind of hyped it up a little bit, you were gonna be generous and give it a 6. You're like, I was gonna give it a 1 the whole time.
I gave it a 0. I was like, no. I don't change my rating regardless of what was talked about because I try to stick to it.
10 toes. I love that.
It's a 7.
Wow.
7. Yeah, I gave it a 7. When I first rated it, I gave it like a 5 or 6. And I was like, okay, I get why people. It's not a bad movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's just not my favorite, but I can acknowledge that it's good.
Yeah.
And it's like well made, and it's shot. It's pretty to look at.
And yeah, it's just much of like the low budget kind of film that's perfect for getting a cult following, which it does have.
But there's
cult following.
There's just like moments in the film where I'm like,
Can we do the Katie Afraidy, like the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and do this for like sad movies? It's just like
really
Marley
sad.
and Me, or like me, Earl and the Dying Girl.
I love that movie.
Me, Earl and the Dying Girl. I watched that one night in grad school by myself.
Oh God, I'm crying.
I literally went to Dunkin' Donuts. I walked to the Taco Bell and the Dunkin' Donuts right next to each other because I didn't have a car, and got a dozen Dunkin' Donuts, maybe half dozen Dunkin' Donuts, and 3 tacos from Taco Bell, and sat in my bed and watched Me, Earl and the Dying Girl, and ate tacos and donuts and cried. And it was kind of like
there's a moment.
Yeah, it was kind of a gorgeous moment. It was kind of just like I was moving on a higher plane type moment.
That movie's so fun because if you like read how they made it, all the little short films were shot in between takes.
Oh.
So that's really fun.
I don't know anything about those. I said, as if that was revelatory. I've just seen the movie. I don't know anything else about it.
Yeah, but I love that movie. It's one of my favorites, actually.
Okay.
It's in my
Shout out.
Shout out, dude. It's great.
Let's all cry to Me, Earl and the Dying Girl.
Hell yeah, that's gonna be the next episode. The horrors of cancer.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. It'll be great. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being on, Sam. This is where you plug your.
What an ending.
What a weird ending, but that's what we do. Okay, this is where you plug your stuff.
I'm Sam Salem, at Samuel Sleeves, like a sleeve on a shirt. That's my Instagram and TikTok, and I guess YouTube and Facebook as well. If this is, by the time this comes out, Washington D.C., May 26th, DC Comedy Loft, link in bio. Come out. And it'll be a good time. We can talk about any horror movie you want, or we can talk about the different people that I look like. I've gotten Macklemore, Logic, Anton Ego, which is the critic from Ratatouille, the food critic.
Oh yeah, that's.
I don't think I look like him at all. I get it so often. I've gotten Chef Linguini, like the actual chef.
If you dyed your hair black, you could be the
Anton
critic.
Ego is like balding, which I mean I am losing my hair too, and I used to get the Chef Linguini when my hair was fuller, but like that dude, I guess I have bags under my eye. That dude looks like he could be the bad guy in a horror movie.
I think it's your face is long, and then you have like the he has glasses, doesn't he?
No. Yeah, tell me why I look like this guy who's objectively
Get specific.
ugly. So anyway,
You're
come out to my show in Washington, D.C. I'm sure I'll be other places as well. I guess in June I'll be in Denver and at Comedy Works and Tacoma Comedy Club. Sure. Come to those places.
You are booked and busy. You're rocking it.
Having dreams is dumb. Don't have dreams, kids.
Don't have dreams, period. Done. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you to our sponsor, Filmcraft Studio Gear. You can find them at Filmcraft LA on Instagram and filmcraftla.com. Also, Fangoria, we love you. You want a copy? Use code Katie Afraidy 25, get 25% off. That's pretty cool. And yeah, give us a like, follow, subscribe. You know the drill. We said it at the top, we say it again at the end. And I like to close out every episode with some bad or good advice regarding the movie.
I thought you were about to say freestyle rapping.
Freestyle rapping, that too. And I honestly think the only advice I have for this movie is very simple: don't have sex. Ever. Don't have sex. Don't have sex.
There you go.
Don't ever fall in love. Lock yourself in a cabin and be alone. Because this is...
You can fall in love.
You can fall in love, but just don't have sex. Don't do it. Cool. Well, on that note, Sam's gonna wrap us out of here.
Katie Afraidy. Bars.
Whoa. On that note, stay spooky, guys. See you next time.
Ooh.